welcome to She Rides, a podcast where women's cycling takes lead. I'm Saar, your host for today, and today we'll talk about the latest news and hot topics in women's cycling. Let's get started. Ready? Hello, everyone, and welcome to episode 24 of She Rides, the second episode already for this week. Today, I think we probably have a fan favorite with us today to talk a bit about her classics till this moment, and of course, Paris-Roubaix coming up this weekend. Hi, Mieke. Yeah, of course, I'm not gonna introduce you again because you've been here in December with us. So for people who really want to get to know Mieke, you can listen that back. I'll put a link in the descriptions. But yeah, we're the day after the Scheldeprijs actually, and you made a pretty big crash there, right?
It was not part of the plan, sadly, but yeah, that's also a part of cycling.
Mhm. And how are you right now after the crash?
Yeah, pretty good. Because yeah, yesterday when I touched the ground, it was a pretty hard crash. That's why I kept laying on the ground as well. It was a really painful one. Then they took me to the hospital to do a checkup, but luckily there was nothing broken or nothing wrong. Just a bit of yeah, skin loss and some loose spots. But yeah, this morning on the bike, I felt actually really good. Like, yeah, you feel every hole in the ground when you have some skin loss. But actually, I was quite happy with the feeling.
Mm-hmm. And what happened actually?
I didn't see it myself because I was just riding in a peloton, but it happened all behind me. And then a teammate um, explained it to me after I was back in the team bus. So there was a girl talking in a radio, but she was like looking at the ground and not looking forward. And yeah, that's when she touched my wheel and she crashed, and I crashed too, without knowing what was happening at that
Mm-hmm.
moment. So that was a brutal one.
Yeah, but luckily a bit luck in the bad luck. Um, so then maybe about the Scheldeprijs actually. What happened normally? It's like pure sprinters, but maybe we saw a little extra action yesterday without Lorena Wiebes there. So we had like this break, like a pretty big and strong group with the likes of Henderson, Sarah Roy, Marie Schreiber, who was very strong actually, Zoe Bakstad, Scarlett Sauren, Femke Gerritsen. So it was pretty close, but actually the only team who didn't really have one of the big sprint teams was Picnic Postanal. So they had to close down the gap for Charlotte Cole. And eventually they made it, but then Balsamo won the sprint before Cole. So actually pretty good, pretty strategic of the other teams for being there and actually making it hard for the sprint train of Cole. We of course also had an early break with two riders, and then we saw Coop trying to bridge it in the early final, and sadly, couple of crashes. But I think that was mainly it for the Scheldeprijs.
I can add something more because I didn't watch the
Yeah.
race in the hospital. I didn't have my phone with me, so it was a bit
Yeah.
of guessing what was happening. But yeah, it's a sprint race, so it's a bit normal that there is a bit more of crashing
Mm-hmm.
and
Yeah.
nervous situations. But yeah,
Mm-hmm. Yeah. And then maybe we will go back to last Sunday because you were there at the Ronde 2, Mieke. How did it go for you?
I was so disappointed because I really wanted to be in that breakaway again. But after 2 kilometers, there was already a big crash on a normal straight road, and the crash happened on the left, but I was riding on the right. So I was trying to avoid the crash. And while I was doing that, I was looking at the crash because you always want to know, is there a teammate of me? What is happening? How do I need to handle my bike during that crash? So while I was looking at the crash, and the moment I looked straight again, I saw a pole. And there was nothing I couldn't do anymore because the moment I saw the pole was already hitting my bike. So I flew over the pole and over my bike, and yeah, that was probably it for me already because mentally it was hard to come back into the race and physically as well. I had a lot of pain at my collarbone because I broke it already 2 times. So this area is really like how do you say, like a sensitive area. When
Sensitive,
I
yeah.
crash on it, it's yeah, it's not good. But um, yeah, when I came back to the peloton, there was another big crash. So I could nearly brake for the crash because I just came from between the cars, and then it was yeah, I needed to chase again. Then I could join the peloton for a few kilometers, but then the big crash of Longoborghini happened again, and then I needed to chase again, and that was probably it for me. My body was just not doing well, and yeah, I dropped.
Yeah, understandable. But I saw you after the race at the buses. So for everyone who thought the race was over, it actually wasn't for you because you had to race to get your own back numbers back, right?
It was crazy. It was really crazy. I was sitting in the car waiting for someone to drive back to the hotel, and I put my suitcase already in the car, but it was still open, so everyone could go in the back of the car. But yeah, you're on a race, you don't expect people to do that. So on a certain moment, I heard like the noise of yeah, I can't explain, but it was a sticky number of the Tour de France, and it was put on my suitcase, and I heard it. Someone just took it off, so I looked back to the back of the car, and I saw someone walking away with my back number. Well, I was so angry. I opened the door of the car and I ran to him and I was like, "What are you doing? It's my number. Just don't steal it from me while I'm sitting right there." You know what I
Yeah.
mean? So I was really angry about that. But yeah, I have my number back, and oh yeah, it was a crazy story.
Yeah, that's really shitty actually. Like who does that? So that was it for Drome. Also in some news last week, we sadly have to see that the No Mieke No Party hashtag didn't didn't work out. So no Tour de France for Lotto, but I think if we are looking to the participants list, it are only World Tour and Pro Conti teams, so think it makes sense in that way.
Yeah, I think we saw it a bit coming. It was not the way we hoped it for like last year, so we saw it a bit
Mm,
coming, and we still have Vuelta on our program, so that's also a beautiful one to do.
yeah, of course. And then if we look back at the start of your season, so till now, how would you score it out of 10?
Actually, I'm quite happy. Also, sometimes it was a frustrating final for me, but in general, I would give it. Wow, maybe it's difficult. It's the way you see it, or the yeah. I think around 6.5 or 7 out of 10.
Yeah, great. And then probably the moment for you in the spring was the start actually, Omloop het Nieuwsblad. So I think most people saw what happened there. You were in the early break together with Lotte Klaas and others who got about 30 minutes, I think. But the Muur was a bit too much. Like after a few weeks, can you like now see the good parts a bit about it and be proud about it, or is it still a bit like,
It will be, I think it will always be like a two-sided story. Like
mm-hmm.
I am really proud of what I did there. It was an awesome day. Like wow, it was awesome with all the people cheering for us and yeah, everything that happened. Nobody could ever think about what happened that day. So it was really cool to be yeah, part of that story. But on the other side, yeah, I really wanted to be in the top 10 and I didn't manage. So that's the thing that I always gonna think about. I pause a lot on training in the Ninove, and then I see the corner where I lost the wheel of Damian Puck, and then I it starts it starts again in my head. So yeah, it's gonna take a while to process that, but still, I'm really looking. Yeah, I enjoy looking back at that race.
Yeah, nice. And then, what's your favorite moment of the Spring Classic so far?
You mean my moment or like in general?
In general, just like your favorite moment. It can be like for you in a race or something completely different.
Think if we talk about my favorite moment, I will go for sure for the Omloop het Nieuwsblad and
Mm-hmm.
the moment we got 14 minutes. It was quite an awesome moment. Um, yeah, I think I will take that because the messages I got from people after that race, it was crazy. Everyone was so happy for me, but I didn't do a result, and that was like really heartwarming because it's that what cycling makes so beautiful. It's not only about the results, it's also about the story of the day. So yeah, yeah, I'll take that.
Yeah, I can get behind that. Um, and then after chasing someone for your numbers, any other crazy stories from the season already?
That's a difficult question. Maybe yes, but everything goes so fast. Like
Okay. And then we'll just like go a little bit more towards the action happening right now. Who has been the most impressive rider, or just the most impressive race by a rider you've seen this spring? Can be an obvious one or something like we can't really see on TV. That doesn't matter.
no, yeah, I think for sure Lorena Wiebes is yeah the
Yeah.
queen of the season so far. Also like when I'm see her riding in the peloton, she's so cool to watch because I don't know how to explain, but she looks so yeah, she's just an amazing rider to watch and to see in the peloton. Like yeah, so that's for sure someone that I think she really made another step forward. Um, and then someone else. It's really hard to think about it right now. Maybe I'll come back to it later.
um, Great. And then of course we have the fifth Paris-Roubaix FAM actually on Saturday. How excited are you to ride your first one?
I was really excited. It's not my first one actually, it's my second one. I did the very first edition of it as well. That was
With Diamond. Yeah.
not a nice one because I crashed already in a big crash before the cobblestone and I never saw the peloton again. But I ended the race, but it was like just out of time limit. I think only 1 minute maximum out of time limit.
Oh
So it was
no.
a really sad story, but I think it was a really cool day and it was also a bit rainy, so
Hmm.
it was an epic day to be in,
Yeah.
but I hope I can do better this year. Um
M-
yeah, we'll see.
Maybe you've had your bad luck now with the Scheldeprijs. You won't have it again.
I hope so, yes. It will be a bit more painful, but I think with all the adrenaline and everything around the race, it will be epic, and I will forget about pain in my body. I hope.
And then maybe a more general question. Can you explain how important it is to have like a Roubaix for the women's peloton?
I think, yeah, the big races they can not not have a women's race at this moment. I mean, like Milan San Remo, it's a beautiful add to the calendar, and we still have to develop and to take more steps. But I think it's yeah, it's necessary to have those races also for us. Um, yeah, for sure. Also in the spring classics, I think every men's spring classic has to be also a women's spring classic because yeah, do you see how many people are watching those races? And yeah, it's just a beautiful publicity that makes our sport even bigger.
Mhm. And how are you looking to articles been published and people saying that the women's peloton isn't performing right now when they are in the spotlight? I think for me personally, it's a bit weird to look at it like that. Like women's cycling needs to perform, but I don't know. We had, for example, Margot van Pachtenbeek a week ago, I think, who said she really didn't like how it's been put in the media lately. But I don't know how are you looking to this kind of weird topic actually?
I listen often to Wheeler podcast and yeah, I heard about it and I heard them laughing with the boring races we have, but I think you can't compare it to men racing. Also, like when we have a hard hill section with like in Gent-Wevelgem, it's normal that we are a bit more, how do you say, like you can't compare it to men's race because they are going full gas all the time, but with us it's like impossible to go full gas all the time, you know. It's I can't you just can't compare it to each other because
Mm,
yeah, it's something physically as well. But I think it makes it more like cool to watch because everything can still happen and yeah, I can understand it's a bit boring when you see the peloton going to a vehicle game in one straight line, but that doesn't mean that we are not tired on that moment. You know,
mm,
it's a lot happened already on that moment, and a lot of riders are already like on their limits and try to do their best that they can. And I think that's difficult to understand when you're standing on the sideline, but yeah, you just have to feel it once, I think. So yeah, I can understand it's not the most interesting story to watch, but yeah, it's still a race, and we're not racing for the
yeah,
people who are watching, you know. Um, yeah,
but like,
I can understand both sides. But I think we had now a really nice Tour of Flanders to watch, and there are still some cool races to come. With Gent-Wevelgem, you have one straight road to the finish line. You can also talk about that because that's boring. Yeah, I know. There are only a few corners left after the Kemmelberg. So yeah, that's boring indeed. But yeah, it's not only about us. I think it's yeah, it's also the races are really hard. They make it longer every year, and I don't care. I really like longer races, and I enjoy it too. But yeah, then you have a boring beginning of the race as well, and that's the same as with the men's race as well. When you have longer races, you have more boring hours in between the yeah during the race, you know. So
Mhm.
yeah, it's a bit complicated to explain, but
Yeah. But like the most important thing I think is to place it a bit in context because if you take Kent Wevelgem as example, because I think it all started to get more intense, the comments after that race. If you watched from first camel till just after the second camel, I think you could see some exciting racing. And it's not because an attack doesn't go to the finish. There hasn't been race and there was some action. And you just know, just like with Milan San Remo, it's like the same now. This time with the men, we maybe saw like an attack from the Cipressa going to the finish, but normally with the men, it's also just till the Poggio and from there. So I think it's just a weird thing to just focus it on that. And like, as you said, women's cyclists aren't racing for the people. They are in first thing. Like, we are also not gonna say if Pogacar does, like, I don't know, a solo next Paris-Roubaix, we're like not gonna say, oh, men's cycling is underperforming or something like that. So I think it's just a bit taken out of context. But
I think it all started with Omloop Nieuwsblad, but when people complain about that race, I'm like, haha, but I was one of them, so I don't care. I really enjoyed that actually, that there was so much commotion about that race. But yeah, if you see that can still happen, it's nice. No, it's
yeah.
something crazy that you will not see in man race. I know, but wow, if there is only if there is a discussion between the cars and the teams like, oh, we're not gonna ride, no, then we're not gonna ride too. Yeah, that's amazing, isn't it? That's so funny.
Yeah.
I find it really funny.
hmm
Maybe less funny for the people in the peloton, but yeah. Let's go
Yeah, it
ahead
was
and
also
discuss.
like, why are we being annoyed? This happened. Like, it's a problem for the big teams, right? I mean, it's not our problem. We saw like riders competing for the win who we would maybe normally not see there for certainly in that race in the front. We saw a legendary 1 kilometer sprint. So I don't know what's really the point, but yeah. Maybe we'll go over to Roubaix now. Really, I think it can be an exciting race. Um, the participants list isn't too filled yet, but I think the big names are on there. Just came in that Kim Lecour is not starting because she also will do the Ardennes Classic, has been decided, and she will debut, I think, in the Flèche Wallonne and LBL. Of course, no Elisa Longoborghini after her crash. And then, yeah, I think the big favorites are probably Balsamo, Kopecky, Wiebes, Vos. I don't know if you have like a big favorite you want to add to the main competitors there. Of course, there are some more outsiders, but
Yeah, I think those names will
hmm
will do it. I don't know, but yeah. A lot can happen in that race, so you better have some favorites than only one.
yeah, of course. Then, from Canyon SRAM, for example, I think Dygert is also someone who's been since the start of the season looking very good. She will have to participate a bit more than in Gent-Wevelgem though to really make the difference. Zoe Bakstedt, why not? Kat Ferguson, Baril Mackay, Van Dijk also did the top 10 last year. We have Guazzini. Gladys Verhulst, 5 for Georgia, of course, third last year. Letizia Borghesi, Gillespie, Bertizzolo. So I think there are quite a few outsiders who, if they want, can really make the race. Also, fun fact: the podium of the last two editions is starting with this. So, of course, Kopecky, Balsamo, Georgie, Jackson, Ragusa, and Trevelyan. So that's also something nice. And for reference, because we've heard a lot of people talking about Wiebes, will she be competing for the win of not or not? And Wiebes was last year seventh on 28 seconds. So think it's clear she if she doesn't have the bad luck, she will be able to be there at the front. I don't know which scenario do you expect to see or hope to see?
I think it's a difficult one because yeah, it's not a new race for me, but it's yeah, I used to watch the TV, you know,
Mhm.
but I just yeah, I don't know. There will be a yeah. It's really difficult because I think the peloton will split up anyway. I think already from the first section will be it will be hectical. So yeah, I think there will be maybe 10 riders in front after a few sections, and they will uh they will go for the win.
Mhm. And what are your hopes? Are you trying to do early break, survive, or?
Yeah, I think it's gonna be a race by itself to be in the break for Paris-Roubaix. It's
Mhm.
one of the most wanted breakaways, I think. But I for sure will try to be in it. That would make my race much easier on the one hand, but on the other side, it's gonna be hard as well. But yeah, then you can pick your lines a bit more easy than the when you're entering the cobbles with the whole peloton. But if not, I think it's my goal to bring our my team. I mean, I want to put them as in front as possible when we turn on the cobbles. That's what
Mhm.
I wanted to say.
Great. And then some other question maybe. Do you think we will see, because I think Rebus has mentioned Roubaix about 5 times in her last interview. Do you think we will see like an open race strategy of SD Works, like everyone can attack, and if they don't go, we go with Weebus? Or do you think they will do something like they actually did in, if I'm correctly, the edition of Longoborghini, why they wanted to win with Van den Broek Black there, if I'm correctly, and for example there was this attack with Longoborghini, Kopecky and someone else, and then Lotte couldn't ride because maybe they could win with Van den Broek Black. So do you see like an open racing from SD Works, or if you heard like the last interviews of Wiebes, do you like really see them focusing on Wiebes?
It's a difficult one to say. I think they also have the position to put everyone in the if they're in the break to for the win. So they have six strong women to go for the win. So I think they will they will have a plan for sure, but I think they can have a lot of plans that can actually work out. So I am not sure. I think in the end, if there is a big group still on the last one, then yeah, they will sure take Weebus as their sprinting lady for the victory.
Hmm. And then we might, before we start maybe the predictions, something else. How do you see Marianne Vos win her dream race? Actually, how should she do it this Saturday?
Yeah, I think she will have for sure a bit of uh advantage because of her cyclocross skills, and she's coming back again, and I think maybe she will have a bit of freshness to go on the into this race, and that can help a lot, I think. And also her experience. How can she win? I think the only way she can win is trying to attack and have someone from SD Works with her, and then hoping it's not Wiebes or Kopecky, and then she can beat the yeah.
Mhm. So maybe I think we can actually do our 1/5 10 predictions, although Christophe isn't here. So for sure, no Lotte Kopecky for him. But he went for Balsamo on 1, Wiebes on 5, and then as the hot take, maybe Edsat on 10. No, Mieke, do you want to go with your predictions?
I think I still go for Kopecky on 1. Then I will put Wiebes on 5 as well, and I will go for Vos on 10.
Okay, and then I went with Lotte on 1, obviously. Uh, and then to compensate it a bit, I maybe went with a little more of a hot take for 5 and 10. I'm going with Gladys Verhulst on 5 and Victoire Berthoud on 10. So I think we can end the Roubaix chapter here. And then of course, Mieke, so you have Roubaix on Saturday. What's next on the program, and what are your next big goals?
I will also still do Brabantse Pijl and Ronde van Moeskroen, and then my classic season is ending.
Great. Then, Mieke, I think we can all say from all our listeners, I hope you heal well, and don't have bad luck in the probably the most the race with the most bad luck in. Maybe you've had that now after the Scheldeprijs. So yeah, lots of good luck, and thank you for being here with us again today.
Thank you very much.
So that's a wrap for today's episode of She Writes. A huge thanks to Mieke for sharing her story. Hope you enjoyed the ride. Make sure to subscribe on Spotify, Amazon Music, Apple Podcasts, or YouTube so you never miss an episode. And if you like today's show, a rating, like, or comment really helps us reach more. Follow us on Blue Sky and Instagram for behind the scenes updates, our guest game, and more. Don't forget to check out other episodes. There's something for everyone. If you've got any questions or topics you'd like us to cover, don't hesitate to reach out. And don't forget, She Writes is powered by KDM Endurance Coaching. Thanks for listening to She Writes, where women's cycling takes lead. Keep watching the fun, and we'll catch you in the next one. Bye bye.